Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So today on the channel, we're gonna be doing some freeze drying. Now what we got here, we got ourselves some scrambled eggs, we got some hash browns, we got some onions, we got some ground pork, and we got some peppers. We're gonna try to make ourselves a little breakfast skillet that simulates a peak refuel experience. If you don't know what peak refuel is, in my personal opinion, the best freeze-dried food out there. Now you're probably asking yourself, what the hell is a freeze dryer? Well, this is a freeze dryer, much different than a dehydrator. A dehydrator will take out about 90% of the moisture from your food, and it will completely destroy the texture of that food, such that when you try to rehydrate this stuff, it is going to be really floppy and languid, and it's not going to have that same texture. With freeze drying, it basically allows you to make astronaut food, okay? It allows you to take all of that moisture out of the food, 99% of it. It's gonna retain the texture, it's gonna retain most of the nutrient value, and most importantly, it's gonna taste amazing. Now, this is actually one of Harvest Right's older models. So we're still using the old model that we got back in 2015. Still works like a charm. We do have the upgraded oilless vacuum pump. So this doesn't require any maintenance whatsoever. It's a lot pricier than the vacuum pump that you get with this one. But if you're freeze drying a lot, this may be something you want to consider. Now, Harvest Right, as far as I know, is the only company that makes something like this. So this really is a one-of-a-kind machine. So I guess what we're gonna do, we're just going to lay it out here, all right? We generally don't want to go any higher than this level because this takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of time to suck all the moisture out of here, to sublimate all the moisture off. The more densely packed it is and the thicker it is, the longer it's gonna take to freeze dry. So we want to nice and evenly space this all out. And you're gonna notice everything that we're putting in this freeze dryer is well broken up. Anything above a centimeter in thickness is something that you should probably try to break down a little bit. The last thing you want is to have one part of your stuff that still has moisture in it, and then you go and you try to preserve that, and because there's still moisture in it, that could potentially spoil your entire bag of foods. Because these are eggs, I know eggs freeze dry really well. So I'm gonna put a little bit more in here. I think we're gonna do one more tray of eggs because I like going heavy on the eggs for freeze-dried meals just because it's a great source of protein. Let's do half of one for now, just because I'm not sure how much room we're gonna have here. Gotta get some carbs in here also. Can't really do tater tots, they're too big. And one thing we wanna try to avoid is foods that have a high fat content. It's not that you can't freeze dry them, it's just gonna take longer, and there is the possibility that anything with a lot of fat can go rancid. Freeze drying takes out water, but it doesn't take out oils. So this is ground pork. Trying to simulate bacon. I mean, bacon's gonna last a long time. You can get those bacon bits that, you know, are probably gonna last years, but we're trying to best simulate a classic American breakfast. Special thanks to Tamra for preparing all this food for me. She's the lady you'll probably talk to if you call Canadian Preparedness. She'll help you out with any order issues you have. All right, so we got that. We got just enough room for our onions. I think this is gonna work out. That's a lot of onions, but that's all right. Okay, so now that we got our trays done up, as you can see, they don't much exceed the height. A little bit they do, but like I said, in my experience, eggs tend to freeze dry pretty well. So we're gonna try this out, see what happens. So let's get it into the freeze dryer. If you guys want, we'll do a more in-depth explainer of the freeze dryer and how it works in a future video. And we are gonna be getting a new freeze dryer, one of the newer models, and we're probably gonna be doing a giveaway of this one. So stay tuned for that. All right, so now we just wanna put this in there. Make sure we got a nice tight seal. The freezing part of the process takes about 8 hours. So this is the drain valve, this is the open, this is closed. That's what we want. We want closed. Once it's frozen everything, it is going to slowly start to sublimate via vacuum pressure. All right, so we're just gonna hit start. And so it's gonna say freezing for 9 hours. So when we come in tomorrow morning, this thing should be in the suction phase. All right, guys, so it looks like it is finally done. This is the moment I love. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're not gonna do defrost because we need to get this show on the road. So what we're gonna do, first we gotta open the vent. You want this to drain into a bowl, or usually I'll just drain a little bit of liquid. That's gonna release all that built up pressure. So we can open the airlock, so we can actually open this. If you don't do that, you're not gonna be able to open this. So let's open her up. Oh yeah, that smells delicious. It's a little warm, nice and toasty, nice and dry, bone dry. There's our eggs. I got my little assistant here, Naomi. It's pretty warm. Yeah. Very dry, that's perfect. And we got our hash browns there. All right.
I love hash browns.
You like hash browns? Well, you're gonna love this meal. So,
Yay!
This is my little helper, Naomi. I think you're my daughter, aren't you?
Yes.
High fives. Your first YouTube video. We're gonna mix all this in here. While I'm doing that, just kind of sift through to make sure that it's dry. Everything looks pretty dry. And you can tell it's dry because it's nice and lightweight. I definitely recommend these silicone mats. Otherwise, stuff can kind of stick.
Can I smell it?
Go ahead. Yeah.
It smells good.
If you have a dehumidifier, maybe use it in the room that you're freeze drying in, because this is going to start to instantly absorb moisture from the air.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to do this quickly. You don't want to dally with this process, especially if you want your stuff to preserve for a long time. You want to minimize all moisture because this is going to act like a sponge, okay? I'm going to pour this in there.
What are the little red things?
Those are red peppers, different types of peppers.
Okay.
We are going to shake this all up, mix it all up in here. You want to grab one end? Okay, here, you grab one end. There we go. Up and down. All right. All right, so there's our breakfast skillet right in there, guys. Freeze dried. What are we gonna do now? What's our next step?
Put them in bags.
What kind of bag is that? Do you know what kind of bag that is?
I don't know.
It's a Mylar bag.
Okay.
Okay, we actually sell these at CanadianPreparedness.com also.
Yes.
Harvest Right also provides Mylar bags. I don't know if these ones are actually Ziploc. You don't actually need Ziploc. You can seal these. These will melt seal very easily. You can use a hair crimper, or you can use the sealing machine that you get with the Harvest Right freeze dryer. We also have a bag full of oxygen absorbers here. You can see there. All right, helper, you're up. So I need you to hold that bag open for me, okay? All right, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna make some individual meals here. So we're gonna try to, I think maybe 2 of these should be good for 1 meal. There we go. Let's see how much is that.
That's a lot.
That's a good amount. It's up to you how much you want to put in there. I would say that it's probably about 500 calories per meal so far. Oh, yeah, just try not to spill it.
I won't.
All right, so remember, pour it straight in. There you go. Let's get one more in there. There we go.
I scrunch it.
Rinse it up. I can tell you guys, this is a good freeze dried batch. We got all the moisture out of there. Freeze dried food is absolutely delicious. This will last 25 years. Technically, you know, it's probably going to last indefinitely, but to err on the side of caution, manufacturers usually say 25 to 30 years. Perfect, you're an expert. Maybe let's do a little bit more in that one.
Okay.
And then we'll have enough for 1 more.
You know what? You do too.
There we go. So for perspective, a meal like this, if you were to buy it in a store-bought form like Peak Refuel, would probably cost you around 20 bucks. Okay, so we got about 6. I think we've spent maybe like $25 to $30 on ingredients, and we got ourselves about $120 worth of freeze-dried food. Now, you factor in the energy that it costs.
But how much was that?
That machine was a lot of money. That's a good point. Very good observation. Maybe you're going to be an economist when you grow up.
What do you mean? I want to draw. I love to draw.
Well, you can draw fancy diagrams that talk about the economy. So, like she said, this is an expensive upfront investment, obviously.
I think it's like $2,000. I don't know.
It's very expensive. It's a little bit more than that, actually. So like she said, it is a very high upfront investment. So you can get the medium, you can get the large, you can get stainless steel, you can even get the scientific one, which was even bigger than this one. It's going to take you a while, I suppose, to make your money back. But the idea is a lot of the value in the freeze-dried food is in the energy that you initially invest into sucking all the moisture out. So let's say, for example, you want to preserve food using a fridge. Well, the fridge is going to require electricity to power. So if you were to freeze something for 30 years, over the course of that 30 years, it's going to cost a lot in electricity. So instead of investing that electricity over time, you're simply investing it into the initial phase of the freeze drying process. Because the storage requirements for this are very minimal. Cool, dark place. Okay, put it in the closet, put it in your bunker, and that's all you have to do. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a hair crimper or our sealer to seal the tops of these just so they're nice and airtight. The reason why we use Mylar bags is because it's a less porous material than that plastic stuff. Does that make sense? It's less porous. The Mylar is superior to the plastic stuff that you'll typically vacuum seal with. And the added bonus of it is that you can pour hot water directly into the bag. Now, when you rehydrate this, you don't need boiling water, okay? You can actually just use cold water if that's all you have, or lukewarm water. But if you want a hot meal, then obviously, you know, that's something you're gonna wanna do. Like I say, there's probably gonna be some pearl clutchers who say, don't, you know, eat directly out of the bag because it's like a polypropylene Mylar, and you know, you might get some chemicals leaching into your meal. Is that going to kill you in the long run? No. Is death by starvation going to kill you in the short run? Absolutely. Do you want to eat it out of a bowl or do you want to eat it out of the bag?
I want to eat out of a bowl.
If you eat it out of the bag, people are going to say, oh, he's feeding his child chemicals. He's a terrible parent. So you want to eat it out of a bowl instead? Okay, sounds good. All right, so what we're going to do, this is the moment of truth. If children like it, then you know it's a winner.
Yes.
So I want you guys to take a good look at that. I mean, look at how the texture is preserved. It's going to taste the exact same way as if it was fresh, okay?
I'm scared.
So we're just going to now rehydrate it.
Yes. Ooh,
It's going to start absorbing that moisture right away.
Oh, it looks so good. I'm excited to taste it.
It's going to take a few minutes to absorb that water. So there's mine.
Yes, his.
And what we're going to do, we're going to pour that right into the bag, baby. So we're just going to let that sit there for a second or two. Let's try this out here.
Yeah.
Oh, I bit my lip. Tastes delicious.
Okay.
Tastes like scrambled eggs, the exact
Okay.
same texture.
I'll try.
How is it?
It's actually pretty good.
There you go.
I give it a 5 out of 9.
5 out of 9. All right. If Miss Fussy likes it, then it passed the test, right?
Yeah, I don't really like mixed food.
Mm-hmm. If it was the apocalypse, would you eat this? You know what the shizzy hit the fizzy is? What does that mean?
Well, me and my brother learned it from you.
I think it means when times get tough, right?
Yes.
Now, the reason why I separated all the ingredients and I didn't cook it all together as one thing is because I wanted to retain the individual textures of all of the different pieces of food. So we do have these available at CanadianPreparedness.com. We can't offer any discounts on them because they are in short supply. We already have the price as low as we possibly can. We do ship to most places in Canada for free. However, there are some places like in the Maritimes where we can't ship because it costs us like $1,500 to ship. We do split the cost of shipping with the customer. So what did we learn today, Naomi?
I don't know.
Did we learn that freeze-dried food is good?
Pretty much.
All I can say is that you can't go wrong with the Harvest Right freeze dryer. It's a real deal. It works just as good as that Mountain House food. You can make it even better. I can tell you right now, this is better than the Peak Refuel stuff we sell, and Peak Refuel is the best freeze-dried food out there. High fives. Good job. Thanks for your help today. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Why am I only in one video?
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at CanadianPreparedness.com, where you'll find high-quality survival gear at the best prices, no junk, and no gimmicks. Use discount code PREPPINGGEAR for 10% off. Don't forget, the strong survive, but the prepared thrive. Stay safe.